victory in Gold Coast history. He kicks straight. What? Straight into football folklore.
Hello and welcome to Little Birdie's Sports Show for a Monday First Look. I'm your host, Nikki Sylvester. Joining me today is MG for the AFL Round 17 review, and we've got Toprope back in the studio for the NRL's Round 17 review. First Look is proudly brought to you by Little Birdie TV, topsport.com.au, Punting Form and Manscaped for the very best in men's grooming. Going to say hi to MG. He's had a big night.
Yeah, it's been a big week on the back of last week, which was massive as well. But yeah, we checked out at about 2:30 in the morning watching the tennis, the men's final. So good result for some punters.
Yep.
Straight back into it this morning.
Yeah, I heard your theory downstairs that what the bookies paid someone to heckle.
It's one theory, not my. It's not my theory.
We love it. We love a theory. We love a theory.
Yeah, I love the Djokovic plant theory that he would have put one or two people in the crowd just to heckle your man Kyrgios to get him a bit off tilt. Well, whatever happened at work, because he was wasting a lot of energy on court, wasn't he?
Oh, my God, amazing. Oh, my God, I love that stuff to hear it and to read it in the morning. And Toprope, did you have a big night? You watched the golf? Stayed up late?
Yeah, gave it a good run. Wasn't sweating like MG. It was akin to Prince Andrew in that Ghislaine Maxwell interview. Sweating over the weekend, but I was up watching some Super League and watching some Scottish Open golf. But just like MG said, big week of sport around the globe. You kind of think this time of year, not a lot going on, but golf tournaments across the globe, Wimbledon wrapping up, the tour's underway, which I'm sure MG is all over. Only 4 games of NRL, but had plenty of drama with Origin, the lead up to Origin. So plenty going on.
Absolutely, plenty going on now. Can you run me down the Wimbledon's women's final? Because, she won. She won well. What is she? She was unseeded too, wasn't she?
No, she was seeded. She's 23 in the world, ranked 17 for Wimbledon. Robakina, first Grand Slam win. 3 sets, pretty good match. She was very nervous early.
Really?
First set she was a bit deer in the headlights, full crowd on centre court. She knew she was in for a big occasion, but the way she settled changed the game around quickly in the second set and then ran over in the third to beat Jabeur. So history was always going to be made by one of them. But it was a pretty good standing final actually for two people that you wouldn't have picked too much pre-post, especially the winner. So another outsider wins Wimbledon. I think it's the 6th or 7th year in a row now we've had a different winner in the women's Wimbledon final. So it's a very hard tournament to pick pre-post and even going through. But good on her. 23 years of age. She's won her first major. So first Kazakhstan woman to win a tennis major. So a bit of history there for Robakina.
Fantastic. And just give me a little overview of Djokovic and Kyrgios. Your most hated man in sport.
No, he's up there. Well, listen, it was a high standard match. It really was. So kudos to both players. They put on an absolute show for the most part. Mm-hmm. And if Kyrgios wasn't, bringing down the tennis final and just played it properly, it would have been one of the better finals you would have seen played on centre court at Wimbledon. Outstanding for 4 sets, very high level. I mean, Kyrgios served out of his mind for large parts of it, and it took Djokovic the start of the second set to actually work it out and look like breaking him. But it's amazing. Djokovic just for Kyrgios, it says you got to lose one to go and win one, and I think this is a huge education for him. Whether he takes it on board, going forward to say that this is what it takes to go and be at the highest level, and I think he appreciated the occasion, and maybe when he does it reflected in his own time. I know it is Kyrgios, so we'll take it with a grain of salt, but it's a bit of self-education that he actually absorbs what he actually did and almost achieved, and he went up against possibly the greatest, or definitely in the top 2 or 3 of all time.
Yeah.
Djokovic winning his 7th Wimbledon was unbelievable. He played a high level. Once he worked Kyrgios out, broke him early in the second, the game was pretty much done from there. But I'm impressed with Djokovic. He's I didn't really like him early in his career as well, and he took time to work it out. But he handled Kyrgios like a boxer, really. I thought it was like a Mayweather boxing fight. He just absorbed whatever Kyrgios. He never got rattled when Kyrgios was serving bombs. he didn't get involved in any of the yelling. Kyrgios wanted to go at the umpire. He was at his box all day. He wanted to have fans thrown out. And Djokovic never bit once and just absorbed everything Kyrgios threw at him. Basically, Kyrgios just burned all his energy out. I think, he had nothing left in the tank when the big points were up because he was too busy yelling at everyone else. And Djokovic didn't get sucked in and got the job done. So, yeah, very good high-level game. Djokovic just too good, but Kyrgios has got definite upside for sure.
Okay, all right. So we'll watch out for the next Grand Slam for Kyrgios. And the men's, they got it done, the Aussies. What have we got? Purcell and Ebden.
Yeah, men's doubles. First time in 22 years, I think.
Since the Woodies?
I think it might be,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, very good stat there by you. Max Purcell and Matt Ebden beat last year's champs to win it, so they had to go through the defending champs to win it. And also shout out to Ebden as well. He come runner-up in the mix with Sam Stosur, who's still going around apparently. So it's a big week for the Aussies.
Toprope, can you run me down on the Super League and the golf?
It was Magic Weekend, so and Super League. So all teams went to Newcastle, played at St James's Park, and spread the great word league. Big weekend. The top match last night was Warrington against Catalans. Warrington won only one of their last 7, but bounced back to beat Catalan, who had rolled title favourites St Helens the week before. So big win there, and it was capped off by the famous Hull Derby, probably up there with the most hated rivalries in world sport. Hull FC against Hull KR, divided by the river in Hull, but FC got the job done there. And Scottish Open, the rest of the news out of that is Xander Schauffele is the hottest golfer in the world right now. He has made it 3 straight wins. He won the Travellers over in the US and PGA Tour. He backed up with a win in the famed JP McManus Pro-Am, and then come out and only shot even par in the last round, but it was more than enough to win the Scottish Open. So all his main contenders like Jordan Spieth faded backwards. Schauffele got it done, and for a guy whose big criticism has been that he doesn't win much, he's might have finally figured it out now. He's not one of those horses who've got plenty of ability, who struggle to win. Once they get that first one, just picket fence after that. So big watch on Xander Schauffele coming up this week with the Open Championship.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, I'm sure you're going to have some tips going into the Open Championship. Thanks, Toprope.
Yeah. Nikki, what do we got with the Austrian Grand Prix that went overnight? You're our Grand Prix resident. What do you got for us?
Yeah, Charles Leclerc won. So Ferrari have really Charles Leclerc's made a little bit of a comeback on the Drivers' Championship. So Verstappen's only got a 38-point lead now. He came second. So that's really opened that wide up for the Drivers' Championship because Verstappen had a pretty big lead. Sadly, the other Ferrari car, I don't know if anyone watched it, his engine dropped out and then the car caught on fire, and look, they were pretty lucky to get him out in time. It was a narrow escape. I don't think he could tell that the engine was on fire, and then the safety stewards were just telling him, you got to get out, and the car was on fire. So that was a lucky escape for him, and look, sadly, he was probably on track to run second. So it would have been a 1-2 for Ferrari. But anyway, Charles Leclerc gets the job done. Monegasque boy, love him. He can speak Italian fluently. What a pin-up boy for F1. We're going to head straight to the AFL Round 17 review. All right, so Geelong took on Melbourne and they won 91-63. Sydney beat the Western Bulldogs 120-67. Collingwood beat the Kangaroos 88-81. Gold Coast beat Richmond 94-92. Fremantle beat St Kilda 111-70. Port Adelaide beat the GWS 84-29. And the Mighty Bombers, they beat Brisbane, 100-90?
Yes.
And Hawthorn beat Adelaide 86-54, and Carlton got the job done over West Coast 116-53. MG, what a packed round.
Yeah, it was good. Back-to-back weeks now of very good AFL results. We had kicked off at the start of the week with Geelong beating Melbourne. It was second v first, and it was good money for Geelong. At home again, they just proved money for Jam down there at the old Cardinia Park and just outplayed Melbourne on the ground. Melbourne have got issues on the forward half. I know you put a line through them about a month ago, and now it's you wanted me to bring that up. But Geelong were excellent. Now they're top of the table there, Nikki. So very good start to the week. Sydney were awesome against the Bulldogs, really. I know they've been very up and down. Sydney, hard to catch. And the Bulldogs are probably now put in the category for this year, one of the most talented teams that will miss the finals. So their run home, I don't think they'll get the job done. And Kangaroos almost pulled off the upset of the year for sure. Collingwood a very, very strong favourite. I think they're $1.03 maybe they were going around and were behind for most of the game, just scraped home by 7 points. Match of the round I thought was, or the better match of the round was the Gold Coast comeback against Richmond was unbelievable. They were down 40 points at one stage. Third time this year that Richmond have given up a decent lead and have lost really late in the game. So I did see a stat where if Richmond had finished out in the last quarters, they'd be on top of the ladder. So that's the difference between those three games this year. So now they're fighting in the bottom half of the 8. Fremantle in the other game, I guess, was a mini final for both teams. Really strong the back end of the game and put St Kilda away. Very dominant win there. So not sure where St Kilda at. Port won an ordinary game against GWS. Jesus, standard was terrible in that game. Really hard to watch. Not looking forward to watching the replay tomorrow there. Your team, Essendon, in the upset against Brisbane. It probably wasn't an upset going in. There was a big line movement. I think it moved about 15 points to Essendon. Brisbane ended up having 9 players out of their side. So, a big chunk out of their team. They were pretty brave, actually. But Essendon got the job done. Important win for them. I think they've won 3 out of their last 4 now, Nikki, since you dusted off and threw the membership away. Hawthorn, Adelaide, equal worst game of the week. Terrible standard game. Those 2 team seasons are over. And then Carlton just got the job done against a very ordinary West Coast who went scoreless in both the first and last quarters. They had a terrible year.
Oh, my gosh. I know. I was watching that and I was like, wow. Could not believe it. What a turnaround from the week before. Okay, now if we have a look at the bookie wrap. So 7 of 9 faves, 5 of 9 covers, 7 of 9 over totals and 6 of 9 home teams. And for the season, we're sitting at 70% faves, 52% of covers, 56% of over totals and 62% for the home teams. Yeah,
so just 2 upsets there. Obviously, Essendon was the main one for the bookies. It probably saved their weekend a bit. And it was pretty high-scoring, few high-scoring games in the totals. Yeah, running 7 out of 9 in the overs.
And you had a really good week for the Stings. Oh, my God, look at that. I'm just seeing WWWWW. And sadly, only 1 loss, but amazing. What a result. Talk yourself up.
Yeah, we had, well, as I said, there was a lot of points scored this week. So you can see I actually took 5 overs out of the 6 bets. It actually ended up all being total bets. Couldn't find a line bet. Probably should have tipped Geelong. We tipped that up on the Monday show. I thought Geelong outsiders, but didn't end up putting that as a sting. But yeah, a pretty solid week there. Not too many sweats. The Geelong-Melbourne game we had to survive on Thursday night was Melbourne had a kick late in the game. Geelong, Gary Rowan missed one from about 15, 20 metres out, so that was the only sweat. But other than that, pretty solid week and a lot of line movements and a bit of weather around, so it helped the week. So, yeah, pretty good week.
You had a great week. All right, let's have a look at the Premiership market, see if there's any changes with Melbourne having lost. Melbourne, they're now 320, Geelong 4, Freo 8, Brisbane 950, Carlton 12, Richmond 13, Swans 15, Collingwood 19 and the Saints at 51.
Yeah, Melbourne have drifted 275 out to 320 on the back of their loss and starting. They've got a very tough draw home, Nick, so I can't imagine too many would be piling into Melbourne at this stage with a tough draw there. No certainties to make the top 4 now with their draw and their current form. Geelong are the big movers, $5.50 into $4 from last week, obviously knocking off Melbourne. And with their run home, probably are most likely to finish on top now, Geelong, so they could have home ground advantage. Freo for pretty solid movers as well. Carlton got the win. Not too much movement behind them, but Melbourne are the big drifters and might continue to drift over the next couple of weeks.
I'm excited to see what's going to happen over the next few weeks for the footy. Okay, now we have a quick look at the Brownlow. Clayton Oliver, $3.50, Brayshaw at $3.70, Lockie Neal $3.80, Cripps at $8.25 and Sam Walsh at $10.
Yeah, Brayshaw, the big mover, had another outstanding game in Freo's win, so he's cracked into second favourite there. Not much between the top 3 as you see. Oliver's now got a cracked thumb. Unfortunately, got a kick from Selwood. Didn't get free kick for paying kicking in danger and will be out for at least 1 week, I would think. So just to watch there on Oliver. But, yeah, a bit of a 3-horse race at the moment.
Okay. And if we have a quick look at the Coleman as well, Charlie Curnow, geez, he's $2 now. Cameron $2.90, Tom Hawkins $6.50 and Aaron Norton at $10.
Yeah, he's got a 4-goal lead now. Nicky had very solid 5 goals in their win yesterday against West Coast. So he leads by 4. He's actually cracked the half ton. He's at 50. So He's a 4-goal leader on Cameron, who's second favourite, and then it goes to Hawkins. So, yeah, maybe just starting to become a 2-horse race now.
Okay, thanks, MG. Now, punters, if you are serious about your AFL, you do need the stings. He had an amazing week, and you can get that from $22 a week in the Little Birdie Live TV shop. AFL stings, $22 a week. We'll have a quick break and we'll come back with Toprope. Welcome back to First Look, proudly brought to you by topsport.com.au. Family owned and operated for over 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with TopSport. Okay, Toprope. We're going to have a quick go over the NRL games because there's only 4 of them for the week, and then we'll have a chat. All right, Cronulla beat Melbourne Storm 28-6. South beat Newcastle 40-28. Parramatta beat West Tigers 28-20, and Brisbane Broncos beat St George 32-18. Big news story there. The Storm.
Storm and all sorts. They were missing Munster and Grant and Kaufusi. No doubt a problem, but the real issue is the fill-in kind of average players that kind of round the roster who are usually so reliable and kind of playing their roles have been dreadful. Marion Seve, Chris Lewis went through this on a Friday show with OB how bad they were last Thursday night. It's a real. I wouldn't call this crisis time for the Storm, but that their depth is being severely tested right now. Bellamy's got at the back end of his career. We don't know how long he's going to continue with. Munster's kind of weighing it with the level. It's a real crossroads moment here for the Storm. So I've got faith they'll get it back on track, but it's hard to say that they all year I've kind of contended that they've been 1A 1B with Penrith. They seem to have dropped off the pace a lot. I know Origin period, this is when they normally flatten out. We normally see a kick from them kind of coming from this week onwards, but their defence has been extremely poor. Their lack of discipline's been really poor. Brandon Smith's comments were kind of really riled up Craig Bellamy this week. So worrying times for the Storm, no doubt about that.
Absolutely. And I think I was having a look the last time that they lost two in a row last year, but that was at the start of the season. I think I had to go back to 2018 since the last time they'd lost more than 2 in a row. So that's got to be worrying. And obviously, if anyone caught topsport.com.au socials over the weekend, geez, they were throwing out some bangers about Bellamy and making the team walk home. They made me laugh.
that was very good. The long walk home. It was very good. It's nothing like seeing Craig Bellamy filthy as well. So it's not going to be a fun week at Melbourne Storm training this week, I wouldn't have thought.
Look, I did think it was good for Cronulla though.
Sharks are going. This says a matter of fact. The Sharks, probably the underrated story from the match was how much energy the Sharks play with. The Storm didn't lose that one. The Sharks went out and won that game. They played with plenty of intent, plenty of energy early. It was a pretty pointed game plan. They were well coached into the game, so it was a good win by the Sharks. And in a reasonably lackluster weekend of footy, it was a real statement game for the Sharks.
Okay, 3 out of 4 faves, 2 of 4 covers, 3 of 4 over totals, and 2 of 4 for the home teams. And for the season, we're sitting at 69% of faves, 52% of covers, 55% over totals, and 62% of home teams.
Yeah, it was not an overs fill up for the weekend. We're seeing that whenever the weather has been dry over the last kind of couple of months, the points are really flowing. So 68 points in the Knights Bunnies game. Poor kicking probably cost the over hitting in the Sharks Storm. The other ones went 48 and 50. So, you get very dry grounds at night this time of year without when there's no rain around. So the dew factor is almost 0. So are we looking about the overs over the next month? That's for sure.
We're going to have a look at the GGOA results. So he did go with the Storm, and no one could have predicted that. So that was a loss. But obviously, you got the South up for the W as well.
Yeah, happy with that. South only won by 12 in the end, but they've seen that game well in hand from a long way out. Probably a bit stiff for the Storm. They certainly didn't deserve to win the game, but that line went from 1.5 to 7.5 very quickly. So certainly got the best of it. But as they say, you can't hit odds.
But what we can do is talk Origin on Wednesday night. And surely, I'm not sure if your views changed from Friday's show to today, but now if we have a look at it, with Munster being out, New South Wales are now $1.35, Queensland are $3.25, and the line has gone out to 8.5, and the over-under's 39.5. Toprope, talk me through it. Can they win without Munster?
Yeah, absolutely. They can win without Munster. the loss of Munster's obviously a significant blow to Queensland in one sense, but this plays into the Queensland narrative. This is what the Queensland ethos has been built on: the backs against the wall, win against the odds, all that stuff. But they're likely going to start Ben Hunt at 5'8", Harry Grant hooker. The last year was a strange year, but the Maroons were 11.5-point home underdogs in Game 3 last year at Suncorp, and the gap between the two teams was bigger than what it is now. So, and they went out and won that game. So, we're talking about a New South Wales team with, I would say, a fairly ordinary 5'8" in Jerome Luai. They're playing Stephen Crichton, Steve Talakai in the side. Jack Whiten's been left out. Josh Addo-Carr's been left out. They're playing a pack that, is hardly an all-time pack here for the Blues. There's absolutely no way I could make this game anywhere near 8.5, even with the changes. I had Queensland favourites. I probably got New South Wales 4 to 4.5 point favourites in this one. I will be backing the Maroons and backing them pretty heavily. I think the 8.5 is free. There's a little rumour going around that there might be other Queensland players to test positive with COVID, so I wouldn't be jumping into this until game time. I think the likely line direction move in this one is out rather than in for Queensland. So I think 8.5's a bet, but I think there's a chance we'll get double digits this one.
So that's going to be you and I on Wednesday night cheering home Queensland, because there's going to be nothing like it up at Suncorp. We're not biased at all.
Look, I'm obviously a dyed-in-the-wool Blues fan, but bet's trumple.
That's exactly right. The money, we bet where the money's at. Okay, now let's have a quick look at the Premiership market. So Penrith 2.10, the Storm are out to 4, North Queensland Cowboys 9.50, Cronulla 10, Parramatta 12, the Broncos 21, South Sydney 21, the Roosters 26, and Manly rounds it out at 31.
Yeah, if you're going to find value anywhere in this one, it's probably around the Sharks at $10. They're well coached. They seem to have the upside to be able to kind of get it right on the day. They certainly don't have the consistency of the top two teams, but that's probably where the value lies. There's no way you could jump into Penrith at 2.10 at this stage, I don't think. It's if you're having a premiership bet this week, I'll be looking at the Sharks.
I would definitely take the Sharks after some of their social media stuff as well. I mean, they are just a team that loves to play together. So $10, I'm with you there, Toprope. Okay, punters, if you are serious about your NRL, you need GGOA. He has had a blinder for the last 2 State of Origins. So get onto the GGOA. You can get that from the Little Birdie Live TV shop from $22 a week. All right, MG, over to you.
Yes, Nikki, time for our charity bets to go up on a Monday morning. We've got have a quick look of last week's results there. We had 2 out of 3 wins, so the Cats got the job done. We got our chips in well there, plus 4.5, and went to pick them, so they got the job done. Unfortunately, the Eagles for you, Nikki, couldn't get the job done against the Blues. No. And Toprope, main bet of the week, South minus 6.5, so they got the job done, winning by 12. So what do we got? I got a 4-shot lead over you two. I'm up to 11-7, and you guys are 7-11. So we'll delve through the finals as well, just to give you guys a chance to catch up. But week 19 predictions. We'll start with you, Nikki, since you're still technically second on the ladder. We're going AFL this week or NRL?
Yeah, I'm sticking with the AFL this week, and I'm going to come back to my babies, the Bombers, plus 5.5.
Plus 5.5 against the Gold Coast. You're going to wait until the last game again. You like waiting until the Sunday afternoon.
I don't know why I do it to myself. Yeah, I don't know why.
Build yourself up all weekend. So, Toprope, what have you got for Wayside Chapel in the NRL this week?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the opening game of the week. I'm going to go with the Sharks plus 4.5 against the Cowboys. I think that might be a little too big. And like Cowboys, we'll need to back up from Origin 2 days away. So happy to be the Sharks on this one.
There you go, punters. Get one early, one late with you two. Myself, love me, love you. I am going to go midweek table. I'm going to go Geelong Cats at minus 8.5 against the Hot Blues. I think it'll be a good match. I just think that the value lies with Geelong there at the MCG minus 8.5.
Thanks, MG and Toprope. Okay, that is a wrap for this week on First Look. Follow us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, download our podcast everywhere you get your podcasts from. Don't forget to follow us on socials, Little Birdie TV, Insta and Twitter. Remember, all your footy betting action is at topsport.com.au. Join OB and the boys on Friday, and they can have a little bit of an Origin wrap-up then. And we'll be here next Monday. See ya.